The Motor City Machine Guns are WWE bound and their future plans have been revealed. Plus, AEW look to be scrapping world title match plans, and a major Raw star is appearing at tonight's SmackDown taping. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. How does the hand gesture go? Because Jack's not here to show us. Is it that one there?
It's one of them.
Here's the church, here's the steeple. Open the door, and there's the Motor City Machine Guns. We have an update on Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, don't we, Andrew?
We do. PW Nexus reports that sources have informed us that MCMG are NXT bound, with their debut potentially as soon as NXT CW premiere. The Motor City Machine Guns have been free agents for the past several months since Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin finished up with TNA Wrestling in March, and then it was initially expected they would head to AEW, but it then emerged in August that MCMG were now expected to join WWE.
Yeah, there was a bit of what we reported was a bit of a war between AEW and WWE over who would get the Motor City Machine Guns, and it looks as if the war has gone the way of WWE. And in terms of what they will do, obviously premiering them as part of the CW premiere of NXT. They want to make a big impact there when they turn up in Chicago in October. And obviously Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin being on the card is certainly a big deal to have on there as well. The Corey of PW Nexus has since added that in terms of going forward, then they're going to be making Motor City Machine Guns the epicenter of the NXT Tag Team division. They're expected to be the faces of the entire Doubles League on a Tuesday night on the CW. A few people online have said this doesn't feel like the right role for them, a team of this pedigree to be put on to Tuesdays. I kind of see them as the lead gang of the tag division, no doubt putting the tag titles on them fairly sharpish. Kind of see them as sort of player managers for NXT.
Yeah, I feel like because I've been seeing all this sort of discourse about them being on NXT as well, but sort of what I thought, NXT already has a really good tag team division, and like the matches over the last few weeks between Chase U and Fractium have been insanely good. Like they have a good tag team division there, and I feel like to have the Motor City Machine Guns, who have done a lot within the business, to have them there to only like cultivate that more and just breed it even more and even to something even better will be nothing but good. Also, I remember some people have also brought up the fact that when AJ Styles went to WWE, he said and been vocal about, man, I wish I was in NXT first anyway, because the difference between being from where I've been in the past to coming into WWE, it's a whole different thing, and I would have really liked that period to sort of transition between these two things, and therefore maybe that's a reason why Motor City Machine Guns wanted to go to NXT as well in the first place too. Maybe it was a decision that they made. I don't know if they'll be there long term. Maybe by the time the draft comes up, that's when they'll get called up to the main roster, but I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
I like the idea of indie stars using NXT as a bit of a gateway drug to WWE, and because you've kind of got that hybrid style of the sports entertainment elements of WWE, but there's a bit more indie-tastic flavour on NXT. Sure. So I guess Motor City Machine Guns coming in and doing it that way, I think, feels like the right way to go. But your thoughts, as always, appreciated in the comment section down there. Meanwhile, over in AEW, Wrestling Observer Radio reporting that there were some big plans for Darby Allin in the forthcoming weeks. It seemed to be, at least in terms of the optics, on the shelf. It was planned, according to Wrestling Observer Radio, for Darby Allin to be the one to end Bryan Danielson's full-time career and beat him for the AEW World Championship. Now, we're not saying that those plans are completely thrown out. That's where the question mark comes in. Brian Alvarez is adding that the winner between Moxley and Darby is going to wrestle Danielson for the first time for the title in Tacoma. Darby was at one point winning that match, and he's from the area, essentially, in Seattle. However, the money match right now is very clearly Moxley.
Ooh, so I wonder why they do go with this, because obviously on Dynamite on Wednesday, they kind of planted the seeds because Moxley was talking to Darby and being like, I told you 4 or 5 years ago that you're going to be world champion. Nothing's changed. Look at what you've done. You've done nothing. You don't deserve this. I want that title shot, so then I can therefore take it. So they've also sort of, maybe they still do have the plans for Darby to beat Danielson, but also it feels like they've put in place plans for maybe Darby and Moxley to have a world title sort of feud as well, if Moxley was to pick up the belt from Danielson.
This whole thing may have come about, and as a result, we may have got the very ham-fisted way that the Grand Slam card has been shaken up, with Darby and Moxley fighting for the number one contendership, and a potential will they, won't they match between Danielson and Nigel McGuinness, as opposed to what we were meant to see, which is Bryan Danielson versus Darby Allin for the world title, and potentially Darby Allin beating Danielson at Arthur Ashe Stadium. But that is seemingly for now a scrapped plan. I think that they've still got high hopes for Darby Allin to maybe be the guy down the line.
I think so for sure.
I don't. It's weird because I don't think I fully get on board with Darby Allin being a world champion.
Oh,
I don't. I
okay.
know. I'm happy to be the better obscure company.
I think with the right storyline and the right build to it, I think we could really get behind Darby in that sort of aspect. And maybe it's just the right story, maybe it's just the right person to be up against as well. And I think maybe rather than a Danielson, maybe like a really dastardly, violent heel Moxley might be the way to go about it.
I feel that has more legs at this current time. But you know what? It only takes a couple of weeks of decent storytelling, and all of a sudden the tide does change. Let's stay with AEW, and that TV deal has been very much the conversation for some weeks now, and we have an update on where they're at with the TV and a pay-per-view deal.
Yeah, we do. This comes from Wrestling Observer Radio as well, who say the WBD deal is a done deal, and there are going to be changes. There is going to be a pay-per-view component in this deal. There is going to be a deal with Max with the pay-per-views in some form. That's what it looks like. What about the deal for AEW Shockwave on Fox, however? Meltzer has an update saying the Fox deal is not done. I think it's something they're working on. As far as the Shockwave thing, they did trademark the name as Shockwave, so they have to be pretty darn close to a deal to go and actually go to the length of trademarking the name.
Yeah, some conversation this week about Shockwave turning up as a new show on FS1 as part of the Fox family, but that is something that is still very much up in the air. I think the WBD, the Warner Brothers Discovery deal, being close to done, will be a comfort, I think, for AEW.
Yes,
just
for
to have
sure.
that locked in and know that you've got a place on television for the foreseeable, and also a plan for pay-per-view and streaming and stuff. I think that's important as well. It's all changed for TV, obviously, with AEW looking for a new deal. WWE are beginning their new home on the USA Network tonight. Lost where I was there. Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa have been announced to be taking part in a steel cage match for the WWE title on the SmackDown premiere on the USA Network. And the cage match itself, as we discovered via Triple H's Twitter, is going to open SmackDown tonight.
Ooh, I mean, that's a way to have the premiere, isn't it? Make a big old match like that on be the first match of the thing. That's very cool.
Triple H announced on Twitter this with a video, and then said, when it comes to the rest of the show, we will just have to wait and see.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Well, if you're going to put the steel cage WWE title match on first, you've clearly got some big plans for what's going on last.
Yeah, which makes me very excited. Do we see Roman Reigns, maybe?
I wonder whether this is where we plant that seed for the Survivor Series War Games match.
Oh, imagine if we saw the Usos back together, everything like that. Oh, it would be nice.
I wouldn't be shocked if maybe they just go for it tonight and we see that bloodline line in the sand as this closing shot on SmackDown to kick off this new premiere, this new home for SmackDown, and we have it with the new bloodline on one side and the old bloodline on the other. Potentially could be where we go.
Exciting.
We do know, according to one source, that a major Raw name is going to be part of the tapings tonight on SmackDown in some capacity.
Yes, we do. PW Insider Elite saying WWE World Heavyweight Champion Gunther is slated to appear at tonight's SmackDown taping. However, there's no word whether it will be a dark match appearance or something on that actual broadcast as of this writing.
Now, I do wonder whether, because they are loading up this, they're looking to load up this show with some surprises and the like, maybe they just put Gunther on.
Why not?
Stick Gunter on
Why
SmackDown on the USA Network.
That would be fun. That would be really fun.
Raw's going to be on the USA Network as well.
Yeah.
It's a nice bit of cross promotion.
Absolutely. Why not? Why not do that?
I think it's going to be really interesting SmackDown to watch tonight. Of course, we will let you know what we know as we know it at cultaholic.com. It's World of Sport tomorrow.
Ooh.
It's back, baby. World of Sport, the return at Epic Studios in Norwich. Come and join us and some of the best of British wrestling as we roll back the years and bring back the times for World of Sport. On the podcast feed, I catch up with my broadcast colleague, Cal Val. That's waiting for you on the podcast feed and on our Patreon as well. So it'd be myself and Cal Val calling commentary for World of Sport.
Exciting.
So looking forward to working with Cal Val in Norwich tomorrow. And we have a big chat about it. And you can listen right now on the podcast feed. And of course, for the latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.